Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. It is Cowboy, aka Nick, and it is 8:32 a.m. EST, and kind of a mad rush this morning. Apologies for being 2 minutes late. I try to be on time, but sometimes you're not on time. That's why they call it time. All right, well, that was fun. Bitcoin might be finding support, still in a downtrend though. So that's what's a little bit concerning here. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what a downtrend is and why that matters. Now we're looking at the 3-hour chart. So if I back out and I take a look at the daily chart, we can just get an overall picture, right? So, we have going back to April, a big move. Bitcoin was at 74,000 and it headed up. And you can see this uptrend, right? You have these higher highs and higher lows. And technically this was a higher high. And then he had this kind of bold, like bearish rotation. And then he got a new high out of it, right? So the uptrend really didn't end until you see a lower high after a lower low, right? So if price had continued down and not made that higher high, then the downtrend would have started right there. But that's not what happened. Zoom in a little bit. It actually made a new high. But what did it do after that? Well, it looks like it's creating a downtrend, right? We have now a new lower low after a higher high. So the downtrend is not in effect yet. But then we see a lower high right here and price continues down. So price is officially in a downtrend on this daily chart. Okay. So that's a bit of a concern. Not only is it in a downtrend on the daily chart, it's in a downtrend on the swing trading timeframes as well. This is based purely on price action. I'm not even looking at indicators and algorithms. I mean, they're on the screen, some of them, but I'm not using that in this conversation. Okay. So understand that this is a price action look, and you're not going to see, there is a support right here, just going back to this level right there. Let's see here. All right. So there is a support there, right? However, price is approaching it, and on the lower time frame, it is on a downtrend. So we must understand that. Give me a second. Just want to take a quick look at something. Yeah. I'll go ahead and do this. Okay. So if I zoom in to the 3-hour chart, Bitcoin, like I said, is on a downtrend on the 3-hour as well. So you can see it pretty clearly here. You have this wick down. I don't like to ignore wicks per se. Even if you don't, you have this downtrend right here, even in the mid or the short term. So you can ignore all this back here and just look right here. We have a lower high, lower low, lower high. Now price is approaching what might be a lower low, and that lower low has to be below this 98,000-ish support, or 97,900, right? So if price breaks below, really, technically, it just has to break below this level to make a lower low. That's 99,000. So if price goes below 99,000, officially, price is in a downtrend, right? Now, of course, that can change and price could go up and it could break this 107,000 high. I'm not saying that it will stay in that downtrend. I'm just saying it's going to be in a downtrend. And even now, it's in a little mini downtrend inside of a mini downtrend right here. Lower high, lower low, lower high. So everything's in downtrends right now. And that's just based purely on price action. Now, what's interesting though is that the downtrend is decreasing, right? So you had these strong moves down and then another not so strong move down. And let me just delete this. Okay. So the moves down are getting weaker. And if price can make a high right here, if price can reverse at any area above 99,000 and then break 107,500, then all of a sudden we might be seeing a bit of an uptrend, right? That's possible too. So understand that like the world isn't ending just because it's in a downtrend. It just is in a downtrend and could continue down. So if we take a look at the algos, first of all, we know that 99,000, 98, 97, like let's just say 98 to 99 is important. Price really needs to stay above that for the local trend to reverse, right? Just for this trend going back to this major move down after early October. So this month long October, not so October, situation that needs to bounce at 99 or 98 or somewhere near there in order for the market to gain confidence that Bitcoin is not going to just have the, no more all-time highs, right? Basically signaling the possible end of the bull cycle. Now, to look at the algorithms, we are in a place where what we might see from a bullish standpoint for just a little bit of hopium for all the crypto heads out there, this might turn into a double bottom. It's very possible. I'm looking at some metrics. Algo Factory heads know exactly which metrics I'm looking at, mind you. And that said, what we're looking at here is a possible double bottom where price might come up from there. In fact, technically, we have seen the double bottom form, technically. Now, what I would need to see to have at least some confidence that, price will head up. First of all, this double bottom could kind of get a little bit deeper, right? But let's just say that this current green candle were to close higher than this red candle and have a higher high, right? So what I mean by that is, so I just want to make sure these alerts stop bugging us. If you look at this candle, I'm going to hide this ribbon here. Really? Oh, okay, that's fine. Sorry, just got, I was trading before the show and just got alerts going off. What is this? Okay, fine. This high right there on this red candle, that's the high, and this is the close, or that's the open actually, right? So what we would need to see is this green candle have a higher high, like so the tip of this needs to go above here, and then this green candle close must close above this red candle's open. So it's got to be like above this blue line. So this has to come up. Now this has 10 hours left. We have all day on this one. But if this price needs to at least go above this line and it needs to close at least above this line. So if the candle can rise above 105,300, and it doesn't have to stay there, it just has to pierce that. It can come back down, but it has to close at the end of the day above 103,000. Really 103,000 and 103,100. If that happens, then the probability of Bitcoin finding at least some support in this area goes up. Now, the next sign we're going to look for as to whether or not this could kind of stay strong and, maintain whatever is going to be whether or not Bitcoin can break this level right here, which is 116,500. So if Bitcoin can get some strength and pull one of these right here and just break, it probably would be a much straighter line than what I just drew. Usually Bitcoin, when it gets strong, everybody FOMOs in usually. So if we can get like a close today up here, and then we might see Bitcoin just kind of rock up, might do some stuff, whatever. But if price can break that level, that 116.5, then that means that we have a chance of seeing Bitcoin stay strong in the near term, right? In the near term. So just kind of understand that that's the case. And that's what we're looking for. Now, of course, if Bitcoin breaks down, it's not the end of the world. Even if it breaks below, like, even if it breaks below 90,000, I mean, it's a concern. I'd like to see price stay above 88,000. I'd like to see a lot of things, but it's going to do what it's going to do. But right now, we're in one of those situations where there's not a lot of signal, right? There's not a lot of signal telling us where price is going to go. We just have to see what kind of decision it makes at this level, right? Is it going to stay above 100,000 or not? It's going to tell us a lot about it. So that's Bitcoin. Let's take a look at, of course, if you guys and gals have any requests you want me to chart it, just ask, right? I'll do that for you. We'll take a look at the NASDAQ. Okay. Well, interesting. So NASDAQ might have made, I mean, we're seeing some bearishness right here. I know a lot of people are scared about AI. And I was talking to one of our members, Koob, yesterday, just in the chat about money rotating to the Dow. So you have a head and shoulders formation here on the 3 hour. 3 hours pretty powerful. That's a swing trading time frame. This is a head and shoulders that goes back to last week, if I'm not mistaken, right? And it is an upward sloping neckward shoulder. So what are head and shoulders? What does all that mean? Well, yeah, this goes back to Monday, this head and shoulders, right? So what that means is that this is bearish. Price might reverse down. And if you look at it from a, like, what story is price telling standpoint, is that price tried to reclaim the highs and couldn't, right? And then a head and shoulders is bearish because what price does here is that the bulls try to, head up, they get knocked down by the bears, but then they try even harder, right? And they get that another rep up, and they get that rep up higher, the bears knock them down, and then they defend that same line, that same level of price, and then they try again, but they just don't have the juice for it. They just can't quite get it back to where it was, and they have expended a ton of energy. And this is like an 80 some odd percent. It depends on, what you're trading, how reliable this pattern is for trading, but it's a pretty reliable pattern, high 80 percentile for like a lot of things, right? So chances are it's not going to go like this. Chances are like 75, 85% that it's going to head down like this. Where would it head to in this particular case? Well, there's a way to determine targets on that. And I'm going to use a Fibonacci tool. And the targets, I'd say a good target's 25,300 or so, because it's also a 618 on this major move up that we painted before. Let's see here. What is this? What's this fib? Let's fix that. I don't think that's correct. Okay, so we'll forget that number that I just gave. But just real simple then. We'll just use our 618 target, and that's 25,300. So, I mean, that's a significant drop. And there's a pretty good chance. Let me take a look at the indicators, do the old algo thing. Yeah, I mean, it's got some bearishness right now. It does. And there's not a lot of support, if you will. I mean, this is looking weak. This is looking like we're going to see the market take a hit right now. So a good chance that this might be a decent trade. Again, you don't give investment advice or anything, but if I were to map out a trade, it looks something like this, right? It depends on how price action behaves and what kind of stop loss I can justify, but it's like a 2 or a 3 to 1 at least. This is a likely trade that we're going to see today, tomorrow, the next day, probably today. CPI was originally supposed to come out today. Let me see if, now that the government is reopened, and I know that's a big story, let's see if it's back on the map for today. Okay, yeah, no, it's the CPI and PPI are not there. So when the government shut down, the data that comes from the government does not happen, right? We don't get that data, or we get it later, and it's not on the map for this week. No, it might be for next week. Let's see. 12th, 13th, 14th. Okay, so Sunday, Canadian CPI, Australian CPI, USD. Okay, meeting minutes are Wednesday. That's a big deal. And that it's not affected by the shutdown. Unemployment claims Thursday. Okay, so we're going to end up probably seeing the CPI and PPI put on next week. We're probably going to get that data. Koob says in the private chat, no, I've read they're not going to post the past data from during. Okay, I think, and that you're probably right there, Koob. I think that I did see them, some data they posted a few days late. They did get some data out during the shutdown. So I don't know. I mean, that's not unprecedented, but it's relatively unprecedented. So I guess from what Koob is reading, we're not going to see that data. That's fine. Whatever. You know what I mean? That's data annoys me. I'd rather just trade a market without it, but that's silly. Data is a thing, and it will continue to be so. So complaining about it's not really going to do us any good. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to probably head down right now. Okay, Koob says they may combine the data. So we might get like this past month CPI combined with the next month's CPI is how they might do it. But yeah, this is a decent trade for anybody trading indices. I know we got Miko in there trading right now. So Miko, that's, this one's for you. I think this is a pretty good trade. Now, the stop loss itself, I don't know like how this can work. I could go to a lower time frame and see that. And then we'll finish this and we'll just leave the show here and go to the private live lab. But yeah, I think this trade is on. I would take this trade gladly. If I were risky, I'd have a stop loss at like 25,500. And then I'd run that. That's a massive risk to reward. And if I lost it, I should take another one. So this is like sitting at like a 6-1. That's a 5-1. Yeah. So that's a killer trade. Good. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. I got Miko. That's what I like to hear for the indices. Yeah, you're short already on the indices. Okay, good. So yeah, Miko's trading, man. Miko is in there live trading. A lot of times we'll do that together. We didn't talk about that this week, but maybe next week. I'm thinking, Miko, it's up to you and your schedule, but I'm thinking kind of like twice a month on Thursdays we can do that. Because between the two of us, like you're doing the quicker trades, I'm doing a little bit slower trades these days, at least for those kind of shows. So it's a good combo where we can kind of switch back and forth. The audience can watch us trade. So tune in for that, everybody. Thank you for watching Algo Factory over here on YouTube, on Rumble. We will be back. What's today? Thursday. So we'll be back on Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. EST. And then if you are on the mailing list, I will send you our Monday report. And let's see how accurate. This is pretty darn accurate. Gold doing what I said it would do. I had a kind of a upward and then a stronger upward, and it's literally following the stronger upward move. So gold's on the way back up. GBP, JPY, pretty accurate, right on the dot. And then this is Monday's report. So the receipts are out there. USD CAD, pretty damn accurate, right on the dot. AUD USD, pretty accurate, on the dot. Not quite on the dot, but on the dot now. It's hit literally like what I thought it would do. Bitcoin, not so much. Bitcoin couldn't hold on, not so much. The euro on the dot, dead nuts on. USD JPY, more bullish than I thought. I thought it would go up, but it's going up faster than I thought. So yeah, it's an okay prediction. Not this one here. I mean, it's I didn't have like a very strong opinion on the NASDAQ. So I just said, hey, I might do this, I might do that. I mean, obviously one of the predictions worked, but I'm not that proud of this prediction. But overall, a lot of on the dot predictions there. And even this prediction, if you watch the video, I'm like, I wouldn't listen to this one very much. So that's what you get with the weekly video. And if you want me to send you that weekly video, just go, the link is in the description. We'll give you a free algo and we'll go ahead and email you when those videos come out on Monday. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the flip side. We're going to go straight to the private live lab. Off we go. Oh, wait, hold on. We got to do our thing here. Always do the thing.
Join us or die.
All right, just kidding. We love you. Catch you later.